Good evening, everyone. I am Simran Bhaskar, the founder of Project Blue Ribbon. Project Blue Ribbon is a youth led organization that aims to raise awareness on child maltreatment. This project supports child rights and raise awareness against child abuse. And we want to construct a world where the rights of the child are protected and honored in a society which is built on dignity, justice, and equality. Through the work of this organization, we will try to enable a sense of responsibility among the people and posting survival stories, stories of laymen, how they have experienced child abuse and their recovery path. We also post success stories where we talk about people who have changed their life completely.
Good evening, ma'am. I am Vrinda Singh, co-founder of Project Blue Ribbon. So as Simran said, the main aim of Project Blue Ribbon is to raise awareness, to make people aware about the different types of abuses, how to prevent these abuses from happening, and most importantly, how to help a victim overcome that trauma. And we want to make people aware that it's really important to raise our voices now. A very warm welcome to you, ma'am.
Uh, so, ma'am, do you have any tips or bit for the young generation, the youth of our country or the world? Like, anything regarding child abuse?
I think first and foremost for the young children out there, if someone is doing something to harm you, you must tell. I understand, like, I get it. It's hard. It's difficult. I went through it myself. I know the pain. I know how, how scary it could be. But you have got to tell someone. And no one has the right ever to touch you inappropriately. Your body belongs to you and no one else. No one should be touching you. No one should be touching you. No one should be speaking to you inappropriately in any shape, form, or fashion. No one should make you feel like you're less than, because you're not. Every single child on this planet is precious, and every person, every child has a purpose. Okay. And so if something like that is going on, please, I am begging you, please talk to someone. Don't sit back and allow this to continue to happen. Now, I understand that the main thing is that they're going to try to scare you, that they're going to hurt your family. It's all a lie. They're just trying to manipulate you. They're just trying to scare you so that they won't get in trouble, because they know what they're doing is wrong. Otherwise, they wouldn't have to threaten you. So please speak up. And parents, I mean, yes to the children, but parents, trusted adults, recorders, teachers, therapists, coaches. If you feel like something is going on, please speak up. Don't alarm the child, but speak up. If you have built a good relationship with their child, speak up. Say something. For the world, don't allow any other child to get hurt on your watch if you're able to do something about it. Be proactive.
Now, a very warm welcome to you, ma'am.
Ma'am, here are some few questions that we face regularly and we would like to ask you. So, as we know, childhood is a foundation of human life, and being threatened and molested or even abused in that innocent phase hampers a lot of development in the victims. Can you please share the effects of child abuse that you have experienced?
Okay, well, so we'll just back a little bit. So my abuse began from age 8 till about 8, and the effects of child sex for me, as well as I know other survivors, can be from suicidality, depression, homelessness, drug addiction, low self-esteem. Those are just some of the things that I've experienced, as well as other survivors have experienced, survivors of child sexual abuse.
Okay, ma'am. So, ma'am, how hard was the journey towards recovery, and what were the hurdles that you faced, and how did you overcome those problems?
Okay, just to be clear, I haven't gotten over it. I'm getting through it. I'm actually still healing. I'm still in the process, because, as you know, child sexual abuse is a lifelong recovery. But what I did, I was very blessed, because I was homeless after, after getting out of the drug program and, trying to get my life back on track after dealing with all these traumatic issues. Um, so basically, I guess I would call him an angel. It was a police officer that actually found me sleeping on a train with a social worker, and they were able to help me get housing, get back into school, so I can graduate, get a degree, things of that nature. But it wasn't an easy process. I had to go through extensive psychotherapy. Um, I needed a huge support system, which is extremely important. I didn't have my family at the time, so they were all that I had. They were, my family, my friends. They were everything to me. But as I said, the process it's still an ongoing process. No, I'm no longer addicted to drugs. I now have obviously a place to live. I have my own nonprofit, but it's still a struggle. But I feel blessed that I was able to to sort of get through it. Um, but again, it's still a process. I'm still recovering every single day.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, as we know, you have written recently a very nice book. Could you just talk something about that book, The Unconscious Community, what it is?
Absolutely. So I decided to write the book many years ago, but I couldn't get the time to sit down and focus. When I was finally able to, I just, for me, I guess I wrote the book because at the time, I was going through all of these traumatic issues with the abuse and, my depression. I felt like I was the only person who was experiencing that. Little did I know that, it was like a whole, it's basically the whole world is dealing with it on every part of the continent. So I decided to write this book, The Unconscious the Community, to make survivors aware of the struggles that I've gone through, but as well as other people who may not know, anything about child sexual abuse and the effects that it has on a person. Because you have a lot of people that'll say things like, it's time for you to move on. It's time for you to get over it. You need to get past this, but they don't realize that, again, like I said earlier, it's a lifelong process of recovery. But I wanted survivors to know that just because they've been through so many traumatic things in their life does not mean that they can't come out of that. Does not mean that they can't graduate from school or own a business or become successful or even just be happy in life, with themselves. No, you can't begin to recover from this, but it's a process. Like I said, it takes time, it takes support, it takes people like you young ladies and and people all over the world coming together to fight for change and to change laws and things like that. So that was the main reason why I wrote the book. My heart just pretty much led me to it, to help other survivors as well as healing, because it was a healing process for me. It's a very painful process, but also a very healing process. And I'm extremely proud of the work that we did.
Okay, ma'am. So, ma'am, as we know, you've also started an NGO for the victims of child abuse. Can you please tell us something about it?
Ma'am, I'm sorry, repeat that again.
Ma'am, you have also started an NGO for the victims of child abuse. Can you please tell us something about it?
Absolutely. So my organization is called Patrice's Kids Incorporated, and I started about 2.5, 3 years ago. I wanted to do, something for the community. I wanted to bring awareness to child sexual abuse because a lot of people, honestly, they aren't educated on it. They don't know much about it. They hear stories, but they don't know the effects of it. They don't know how to protect their kids. And I hear especially a lot of young parents, they tell me things like, I can't afford to take these training classes. I'm afraid to talk to my child about child sexual abuse. At what age should I start? So I figured, since I had some information and I know others needed the information, I would start my nonprofit. So what I did was basically we bring awareness by bringing, we have a child sexual abuse awareness training going on right now, and I'm offering 10 free classes, 2 classes per month, so that, we can enlighten young parents and they can enlighten other people and just anyone who's ever been interested in learning about how to, prevent their child from being sexually abused, being groomed, things like that. As you ladies already know, the process that, predators begin when they trying to, sexually abuse a child. They start with the grooming. They start getting to know the family, getting good with the kids, buying gifts, things of that nature. And I also wanted to do things for kids in the community, especially kids that are in need, such as kids who've been abused, or even if they weren't abused, homeless, living in foster care agencies. So we try to do, little things around the community. We do back to school events. We do Christmas events. Whatever we can do to give back to the kids and let them know that just because they're in that situation does not mean that they're forgotten, that they are still loved and cared for. And, I'm here to do whatever I can to help in the process.
So, ma'am, as you said, the family is not ready to talk about it. So, ma'am, there will be many reasons such as societal pressure or even family pressure. So, would you like to say something to them, like how important it is to raise voice against childhood abuse?
Absolutely. So, as we know, child sexual abuse is an epidemic. Again, it's all over the world. But I think that the problem is that, especially in a lot of families, I think the main issue is that when they find out something like that happens, they keep it becomes a secret, it becomes quiet. No one wants to talk about it. But they don't realize the emotional effects that it has on that child. Once you've been sexually abused, automatically your childhood is ripped away from you. That innocence is no longer there. And that, and think about the capacity of let's say an 8-year-old child who's been sexually abused. Think about the brain capacity. They can barely hold on to anything as it is, retain information. But for you to go on to destroy a young child's mind like that, it's something that, needs to be talked about, especially when it comes to laws, things like that, which is very important. I'm not sure if you ladies know, but we were able to get the Child Victims Act law passed in New York, where you have up to the age of 50 to name your abuser or the entity in where it happened, and you can sue them. And that's a good start. But the problem, again, with society is that everyone wants to keep everything in the closet. You have to bring things to the forefront in order for change to happen. If you don't talk about it, if you don't bring awareness, if you don't speak up on it on a regular basis, then it just goes away just like any other thing. So I think it's important for like organizations like yours, Minds, and other people to talk about, the effects of it, the seriousness of it, the damage that it does. But I think for parents, it's so important. You have to talk to your kids about it. I mean, especially if you want to protect them, especially you want to make them aware that, look, you can come to me about any single thing that's happening in your life. If somebody's hurting you, if someone is bullying you, whatever the situation might be, you want that child to know that I'm there for you. And for kids who don't live with their parents, you can speak to an aunt, a friend, a teacher, some trusted adult, that that can help you, and you keep talking about it until someone steps up. For the adults, if you feel like something could possibly going on, and the child doesn't have to be yours, they don't have to be a blood relative for you to care about them. A child is a child, and that child needs to be protected. So I would say for any adult that feels like, hey, there's a possibility that this child might be abused, it's your duty. It's your duty as a human being to do something about it, to make someone aware of it, to investigate the situation. Don't let it go on. And then you find out later, oh, wow, I had a feeling. And guess what? I found out that this child was sexually abused or abused in some shape, form, or fashion. So I think it's everybody's responsibility to look into it, to see what's going on. I think that the appropriate age to start talking to your child about abuse is 3. You can start off talking to them about little things like body safety. What's on your body belongs to you. So you can start off with little conversations like that and then build it up. It may be uncomfortable, bringing awareness to it and finding out what things I can do to protect my child from this ever happening, or if it does happen, how I can go about getting my child the support that my child needs in order so that they can, live with normal life, so responsibility. We have to make it like you young ladies, you guys are focused on, bringing awareness to maltreatment of children. And that is something that needs to be done across the planet. So thank you, ladies, for the work that you're doing as well. I feel like the more people that speak about it, the more people that get involved, is the more kids that we can help, more predators that we can stop, and let them know that we're watching you and you will not get away with what you did to these kids.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So, ma'am, one of the sad realities is that most of the survivors don't even get support from their parents and from their family members. So, according to you, how important is it to have parental support and supervision in case of child abuse?
I mean, I can speak for myself, and I can tell you that that's what I needed. I needed the family support. I needed someone to hug me, to hold me, to say, Patrice, it's not your fault. It's, you didn't do anything wrong. It's okay. We're going to do everything in our power to protect you. And I blame no one, but I didn't have that. So, I feel like it's my obligation to make sure that I tell anyone who's listening to this Zoom video right now, that is the only thing that's important. That is all that's important, is that support, that emotional support. Because imagine being abused and you can't tell anyone. Imagine someone hurting you on a regular basis and you don't have anyone to tell you that it's not your fault. Because guess what? That predator is telling you it's your fault. If you do anything, I'm going to harm you. If this happens, I'm going to hurt your mom. And sometimes it's parents doing the abusing. So it makes it even, and that's I'm glad you brought that up, because it's very difficult when you have a parent that's abusing you. You can't go to that parent, because in your mind, that's mom, that's dad. They're doing whatever it is that, they think that they're supposed to be doing. So it messes with the child's mind. When a child is able and capable to tell someone, the damage has been done. So hopefully they have someone like a school teacher or a friend or a trusted adult or a coach or someone that they can talk to and tell them, look, this person, I know this person is my mom and dad, but they are harming me. But again, it's very, very difficult to have these conversations when it entails a parent. But support, that's all we needed. That's all we ever needed, was support and love.
So, ma'am, we have a last question. That is, it is hard for parents to deal with children who have just witnessed or experienced abuse in any form or understand their pain. So, could you suggest some ways that how parents can reach to those children during those hard times?
Absolutely. Parents, if you come into a situation where your child does come to you and says, this person has done that to me, the first thing for you to do, I believe, is not to overreact, because you don't want to get the child upset. You want to try, even though and I know it's a very, very difficult thing to do. But the first thing is that you need to talk to the child gently. Okay. Don't force any answers out of them. Speak to them gently, be very calm, deal with them, as they say, with kid gloves, so to speak. But definitely professional help immediately. You contact the authorities immediately. You get that child into therapy immediately. But you deal with your child the way you would want somebody to deal with you, gently, with love, with concern, with caring, with lots of support, letting that child know that I love you and it is not your fault. You did nothing wrong, but you have to do it in a fashion that's, because the child is already upset. They've already been traumatized. You don't want to make it worse by yelling and screaming and, getting that child upset. And then it gets to the point where they don't even want to have that conversation with you, because they're like, my mom or my dad is upset. I don't want to get them upset. And they start feeling like it's their fault. But if you show them love and compassion and empathy, not sympathy, but empathy, which is extremely important, you might be able to get through to them. But professional help, especially if you're not a psychiatrist, you're not in that, in that, you definitely need to get them help. Some people think that, religion and, and that's fine. People are entitled to whatever religion they believe in. There's no issue with that. But religion is not just the answer to child sexual abuse. Professional help and family support and community support is what's really going to get that child through the process.
So, ma'am, do you have any?
If you feel like something is going on, please speak up. Don't alarm the child, but speak up. If you have built a good relationship with that child, speak up. Say something. For the world, don't allow any other child to get hurt on your watch if you're able to do something about it. Be proactive.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for enlightening us with this session and for sharing your experience with us. I'm sure after hearing you, lots of other survivors would also be inspired to share their experiences. So thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much for having me, young lady.